You've been subtly convinced that energy work is either a frivolous fantasy or the exclusive domain of enlightened masters. But the truth is far more accessible. You were inherently designed to harness and direct energy with profound ability. This innate capacity wasn't lost. It was gradually suppressed, replaced by a culture of external validation, digital distractions, and repetitive routines that encouraged you to disregard the subtle intelligence of your own body. Those fleeting sensations you dismissed, the tingling in your palms, the subtle magnetic pull, the inexplicable waves of warmth were not illusions, they were gateways. You likely experienced this as a child, a natural connection to your inner power, but were conditioned to dismiss it as mere imagination. The world needed you rational, not intuitive, predictable, not potent. Here's the secret they diligently kept. Energy isn't an esoteric mystery. It's a tangible system, a skill set that can be developed, honed, and wielded not over decades of arduous practice, but within a remarkably short time frame. The speed at which this ability awakens can feel almost subversive, a liberation from long-held limitations. From the moment you arrive, the narrative subtly shifted, obscuring your inherent connection to genuine power, not the sensationalized external displays seen in entertainment, but the authentic internal sovereignty. This is the deep, unwavering current flowing beneath your conscious thoughts, shaping every aspect of your experience, regardless of your awareness. You were born with direct access to this wellspring, but never provided the map. Why? Because a population capable of self-regulating their energetic state, amplifying their personal resonance, and alchemizing internal challenges into powerful resources requires no external control, no restrictive systems, no intermediaries. Instead, a replacement was implemented. Subtle energetic awareness was traded for the rigid structure of schedules and dogma. Rote memorization was elevated as intelligence, and stillness was redefined as laziness, obedience as virtue. Gradually, imperceptibly, the vital link between your conscious awareness and your bioenergetic field was severed. This wasn't due to energy's non-existence, but precisely because of its profound efficacy, its undeniable reality, its inherent accessibility. You were trained to dismiss your potential before you ever had the chance to fully explore it. The very notion of chi, prana, or vital life force was relegated to the realms of fantasy, exotic mysticism, or theatrical martial arts demonstrations. Mention it, and you risk being labeled woo-woo. Pursue it, and you may be considered delusional. This wasn't accidental, it was a strategic erasure. Western science didn't unintentionally overlook energy, it actively chose not to investigate it, prioritizing reductionism over holistic understanding. The body was separated from the mind from the spirit, and everything beyond the reach of its instruments was declared a myth. And many tragically believed it. But energy isn't a belief system. It's an experiential reality. It's something you feel, something you direct, something you embody. The great Hermetic traditions understood this, as did the ancient Egyptian alchemists, the Taoist sages, and the yogic masters. They mapped this internal power centuries ago, not to worship it, but to skillfully use it. And their explorations revealed a fundamental truth. Your mind isn't merely a thinking machine, it's a powerful transmitter, a frequency tuner. Your breath isn't just the intake of air, it's a direct interface with the universal energy field. Your spine isn't simply a structural support, it's a primary conduit for subtle energetic currents. Energy permeates everything, but more significantly, it is programmable, and your nervous system serves as the operating system. But this crucial knowledge remains conspicuously absent from standard education. Instead, you were told your body is merely a biological vessel. Your thoughts are random and inconsequential, and your intuition is unreliable. You were given a limiting blueprint, meticulously designed to keep you confined to your head, disconnected from the profound intelligence of your body. But energy doesn't reside in the mind alone, it flows beneath it, and accessing it requires remembering what you were trained to forget. Your body isn't a prison, it's a gateway. And here's a deeper insight that many prefer to keep hidden. Certain fundamental Hermetic principles cannot be fully articulated in this format. This is precisely why we've created the Awakened Path, our exclusive online community. Join through the link below to gain access to transformative practices, powerful insights, and receive a complimentary digital edition of the Kabbalion available for a limited time. Because as you begin to consciously understand and utilize the language of energy, not just as a metaphor, but as a neurological reality, the perceived limitations of reality begin to dissolve. You transition from reacting to circumstances to actively creating them. You begin to sense before you think, perceiving the subtle nuances often overlooked by those trained to override them. You develop an acute awareness of the energetic imprint of environments, the lingering residue of emotions, and the energetic projections of others, learning to maintain your own equilibrium, not through forceful effort, but through grounded presence. Your inherent power returns, not as a gift from an external source, but as a rediscovery of what has been within you all along. The true deception wasn't the denial of energy work's existence, but the insidious suggestion that you lack the capacity to engage with it. The moment you directly experience it for yourself, that carefully constructed illusion shatters, and there's no return. You'll perceive people and reality with newfound clarity, and more than anything, you'll question why this fundamental truth was withheld from you. Subtle energy isn't a fantastical concept or a mere symbolic representation. It's a tangible, trainable force operating within and around you in this very moment, whether you recognize it or not. Many struggle to perceive it, not because it's weak or hidden, but because their senses have been dulled by chronic overstimulation and pervasive disconnection. When someone declares, "I don't feel anything," they aren't inherently wrong. They've simply lost the ability to perceive what was once a natural, intuitive experience. Imagine a radio constantly emitting static, drowning out any underlying melody. This is analogous to the impact of modern life on your energetic perception. The ability hasn't vanished. It's merely buried beneath layers of interference. Subtle energy, regardless of whether you label it chi, prana, bioelectricity, or etheric force, represents the foundational stratum of your experience. It's not a trendy buzzword, it's the very field from which all manifested forms emerge. In Hermetic terms, it's the animating force that bridges the gap between thought and matter, moving faster than cognition and preceding biological processes. Your nervous system doesn't simply react to the external world, it continuously emits a dynamic field shaped by your emotional landscape, your ingrained beliefs, and your patterns of physical tension. When you instantly sense someone's vibe upon entering a room, that's not mere intuition. That's energetic literacy in action. However, subtle energy extends beyond mystical auras or the exclusive domain of empaths. It's electromagnetic, thermodynamic, and measurable, though not always with conventional instruments. The body itself serves as the primary sensor. The skin, the fascia, the gut, the palms are all replete with sensory nerve endings exquisitely attuned to subtle feedback. But when you've been conditioned to live primarily in your head to intellectualize every experience, you inevitably lose the capacity to sense. Most individuals only register what's overwhelmingly loud: pain, intense heat, pronounced tension. They've forgotten how to perceive the quiet whispers, where true power resides. You were taught to dismiss the sensations that hold the most significance. The gentle warmth in your chest when fully present, the tingling between your hands during focused concentration, the sudden chills that accompany profound realizations before your conscious mind catches up. These were dismissed as coincidences, figments of imagination, or simply nothing at all. But these are the access points, the gateways through which energy begins to communicate. The perceived difficulty in sensing subtle energy isn't inherent in the energy itself, it stems from its subtle nature. It requires deceleration, not acceleration. It doesn't respond to force or tension, but to focused attention and a state of neutrality. Energy follows awareness, not coercion, and most have never been instructed in holding awareness without demanding immediate results. The pursuit of outcomes often overshadows the cultivation of a relationship with the energetic field. Energy isn't a tool to be wielded, it's a dynamic dialogue. When your nervous system is chronically bombarded by stress, distraction, or overstimulation, it shuts down energetic sensitivity as a protective mechanism. This limits your range of perception, trapping you in a survival mode dominated by fight, flight, and freeze responses. In this state, openness to flow is replaced by rigid defense. So, if you aren't currently experiencing energy, it doesn't indicate its absence. It signifies that your body remains on guard and that you haven't been shown how to transition from contraction to expansion. This isn't a matter of belief, it's a matter of training. The reality of subtle energy becomes undeniable when you cease attempting to force it and begin learning to listen to it. This marks a pivotal shift. Sensing isn't something you achieve, it's something you uncover. The more you attune yourself, the more you realize it was present all along, beneath your movements, beneath your thoughts, beneath the pervasive noise, like a subtle signal patiently awaiting recognition. And as you begin to perceive it, even faintly, everything transforms. Your movements, your breath, your responses all shift. You cease treating the body as a mere machine and begin regarding it as a sacred vessel. You transition from using awareness as a spotlight to perceiving it as an expansive field, and within that space, subtle energy ceases to be merely a sensation and becomes a force you can actively direct. This represents the initial step from passive experience to conscious creation. Most individuals remain unaware that their energetic senses aren't broken. They're simply dormant. You weren't born numb. You were trained to suppress the very aspects of yourself that could perceive beyond the physical, not out of malice, but because we inhabit a world that primarily values what can be measured, monetized, or packaged into a standardized curriculum. But energy operates outside of these limitations. It doesn't require belief, it doesn't seek approval, it responds to direct experience. And as you begin to attune yourself, even incrementally, you'll notice a subtle yet profound phenomenon. It starts to respond in kind. Awakening your energetic senses isn't about attaining a state of exceptionalism or heightened spirituality. It's about returning to your natural baseline, a state of inherent connection that was always intended to be accessible. The body inherently possesses this knowledge. It's the mind that creates the obstacles. Your thoughts crave certainty, tangible results, definitive labels. Energy doesn't operate on this frequency. It responds to presence, not performance, and the more you attempt to force it, the more elusive it becomes. However, when you relax into sensation without clinging to specific outcomes, you begin to experience it. The tingling between your palms, the subtle magnetic push or pull as you move your hands, the gentle buzzing beneath your skin. These aren't illusions, they are signals indicating a deepening of your awareness. The hands often serve as the initial point of contact, not because they possess inherently magical properties, but because they are densely populated with sensory nerve endings and constantly exposed to external feedback. As you hold your hands a few inches apart, directing your focus to the space between them, your body begins to register subtle variations in temperature, pressure, density, and charge. This may manifest as warmth, static, magnetism, or even a fluid-like sensation. The key is not to label it, but to observe it, remain present with it, and allow it to intensify. Attention amplifies perception, stillness magnifies the subtle signal. Breath plays a crucial role, not due to any mystical properties, but because it serves as a powerful bridge between your conscious mind and your autonomic nervous system. Shallow, erratic breathing perpetuates mental loops, while deep, rhythmic breath brings the body into a state of coherence. The nervous system calms, energy begins to flow, and your senses come online. You aren't merely breathing air, you're inhaling pattern, flow, and charge. As your breath becomes intentional, your energy follows. Stillness is equally essential, not as a state of passive boredom, but as a state of focused presence without distraction. The less fragmented your awareness, the stronger the energetic signal. By allowing yourself to slow down and fully inhabit your body, not just think about it, you create space for sensation to emerge. Energy isn't inherently loud, it becomes prominent when you become quiet. Modern life, however, conditions you to constantly react, rarely allowing you to descend into the depth required to sense it. Awakening your energetic senses involves reclaiming your capacity for stillness, even for brief periods, and observing what arises. Movement also plays a vital role. Subtle energy responds to intention, and when coupled with deliberate motion, it creates a powerful feedback loop. Slow, intentional hand movements, performed with focused awareness, can reveal currents that feel like fluid, tension, warmth, or electromagnetic waves. This isn't imagination. It's you finally tuning in to the very real energetic field that has always surrounded you. Visualization can also be a powerful tool, not because of inherent magic, but because the brain struggles to differentiate between imagined and physical input. When you visualize energy flowing through your hands, your nervous system engages with that directed intention. You aren't pretending. You're training your body to align with your intention. This process isn't limited to the hands. Over time, you'll begin to sense energy throughout your spine, your gut, your feet, your entire energetic field. You'll start to notice how emotions alter the texture of your surrounding space, how thoughts ripple through your body, how the energetic fields of others enter and exit your awareness. You won't require external validation. You'll possess direct perception, and that's where the transformative shift occurs. You'll cease needing anyone to validate your reality because you'll be able to feel it for yourself. This journey isn't about performing impressive energy tricks or seeking external validation. It's about remembering how to listen. Awakening your energetic senses is about quieting the incessant noise long enough to hear what has been present all along. As you do, you'll begin to trust your body again, not just as a vehicle for transportation, but as a finely tuned instrument, capable of perceiving not just physical sensations, but also frequency, resonance, and flow. This is where the true work begins, not in exerting more effort, but in cultivating deeper perception. Energy doesn't need to be found, it simply needs to be felt. Subtle energy isn't a random phenomenon encountered by chance. It adheres to specific laws, not arbitrary man-made rules, but universal patterns, hermetic principles that govern the movement of energy, the emergence of form, and the translation of thought into reality. These laws weren't invented, they were meticulously observed by ancient civilizations, encoded in texts such as the Kabbalion passed down through fragmented traditions and subsequently obscured by centuries of dogma and distraction. However, once you comprehend them, not just intellectually but viscerally, they become powerful tools, not abstract theories. Tools that, when skillfully applied, grant you leverage, the kind that transforms thought into vibration and vibration into tangible force. The first, and perhaps most fundamental, is the principle of mentalism. All is mind. Everything originates in consciousness. Every energetic pattern you emit stems from your mental state. Scattered thoughts result in scattered energy. Sharp, still, and precise thoughts yield a focused, directed energy. Mentalism implies that you don't need physical movement to alter your energetic field. You simply need to command it internally, not with wishful thinking or passive acceptance, but with unwavering clarity and certainty. You become the source code. Then there's the principle of vibration. Nothing rests, everything moves, everything possesses a frequency, including you. Your emotions, your breath, your thoughts, your internal dialogue, all are forms of vibration. A chaotic system attracts chaos. Tuning into coherence, synchronizing your thoughts, breath, and nervous system stabilizes your energetic field. A stabilized field expands your influence. You aren't simply vibrating randomly, you're resonating deliberately. This is what ancient practitioners understood, not through elaborate rituals or ceremonial attire, but through intentional alignment. Which leads us to the principle of polarity. Everything is dual. Opposites are fundamentally the same in nature, differing only in degree. Heat and cold, light and dark, stillness and movement. Mastery isn't about resisting polarity. It's about comprehending its underlying nature. You don't flee from fear, you transmute it into fuel. You don't deny anger, you refine it into focus. The same energetic charge that can destroy can also be harnessed to build. This is the essence of energetic control, not suppression, but skillful redirection. You don't eliminate the storm, you learn to navigate through it. These principles aren't abstract, they are operational. You apply them through attention, intention, breath, posture, and focused concentration, not through supplication to an external force, but through commanding the power that already resides within you. This isn't about ego, it's about responsibility. Once you realize your internal state influences your surroundings, your relationships, your outcomes, everything, you can no longer attribute events to mere chance. You become the transmitter, not just the receiver. You learn to tune the field rather than simply reacting to it. This marks the transition from unconscious emitter to conscious architect. Rituals, ceremonies, and mantras are merely methods of organizing intention, not absolute requirements. What's truly essential is inner command. Can you hold a single thought in stillness without wavering? Can you enter a state of mental silence and direct your energetic field without needing external validation? This is the true work, where hermetic law meets practical application. And most importantly, where energy ceases to be a mere concept and becomes an extension of your will. When you combine these fundamental laws with the energy you're beginning to sense, something profound clicks into place. You realize energy doesn't move solely on emotion, it moves through structure. A structure you create not through rigid routines, but through inner architecture, breath patterns, visualization, physical alignment, stillness, and unwavering conviction. You don't just send energy outward, you hold it, you channel it, you shape it with precision. You utilize polarity to shift internal states, vibration to stabilize them, and mentalism to create the underlying blueprint. It's not magic, it's mechanics. The magic lies in convincing you it was anything else. This is the threshold that many never cross. They experience a flicker of energy, a fleeting sensation, and then stop. But those who learn to direct it, to build with it, to project it, to charge space with it, they become something else entirely. Not special, not chosen, simply awake. Because true power resides not in merely seeing energy, but in shaping it. And once you understand the laws that govern the energetic field, you cease waiting for life to happen to you and begin composing it yourself. The nervous system is the often overlooked bridge between your mind and your energy. Many believe that energy work revolves solely around vibes, imagination, or some ethereal force existing outside the body. But the truth is far more grounded and far more potent. The way energy flows through you, how it's held, released, and directed, is fundamentally governed by the state of your nervous system. A body locked in a stress response will exhibit an erratic energetic field. A system in coherence will project a precise, intentional field. You cannot effectively direct energy with a chaotic signal. You must first learn to regulate the instrument before attempting to command the force. Your nervous system operates primarily in two distinct modes: sympathetic, fight or flight, and parasympathetic, rest and digest. You likely already know this, but here's a crucial point that's often omitted. Your energetic field undergoes dramatic shifts depending on which state you inhabit. In a sympathetic state, energy contracts, your field becomes dense, reactive, and defensive, consuming vast amounts of power simply to maintain alertness. In parasympathetic states characterized by deep calm, conscious breath, and focused presence, your field expands, becoming receptive, attuned, and magnetic. This isn't just a mental shift, it's an electrical, energetic transformation. Your entire frequency recalibrates based on your level of nervous system regulation. Reflect on a time when you entered a room and sensed an overwhelming calmness emanating from someone. You couldn't explain it rationally, but you felt it viscerally. That is nervous system mastery, not through dominance or outward charisma, but through inner coherence. They weren't leaking energy, they were generating it, containing it, and projecting it not through forceful exertion, but through skillful self-regulation. And that is the fundamental secret. You don't amplify your energy by trying harder. You amplify it by refining your signal. The vagus nerve plays a central role in this process. It's not just a biological structure, it's the body's primary tuning fork. Consciously activating it through slow, diaphragmatic breathing, intentional vocal toning, or gentle stimulation shifts your body into a state of coherence. This coherence forms the bedrock of energetic control. From this regulated state, you can begin to direct energy with clarity and precision, rather than being driven by emotional reactivity. You transition from simple reaction to conscious resonance, and that's where true command begins. Not the counterfeit form that seeks to dominate the external world, but the authentic power that allows your internal state to become your primary influence. Energy follows the path of least resistance. If your body is tense, your breath shallow, and your awareness fragmented, energy scatters aimlessly. But when your body softens, your breath deepens, and your mind stills, energy gathers, concentrates, and most importantly, listens. This is what ancient practitioners intuitively understood, without needing modern scientific explanations. They knew, through repeated practice and refinement, that control over breath and stillness leads to control over the very forces of nature. The body becomes the interface, not something to transcend, but something to master. When you move with intention, when you sit with presence, when you breathe as if conducting an energetic current, you are doing exactly that. You are no longer passively waiting for sensation to arise. You are actively generating the conditions that make it inevitable. These conditions aren't complex. They're simply unfamiliar, because you've likely never been taught how to regulate your system specifically for energetic flow. You were taught to grind, push, and stay busy, but energy doesn't respond to noise. It responds to signal clarity. This is why many only experience fleeting glimpses of energetic perception, a sudden buzz, a magnetic pull, and then nothing. The energy hasn't disappeared. Your system has simply reverted to its default state of internal noise. Fleeting glimpses become sustained flow when you cultivate the ability to maintain nervous system regulation. This doesn't necessitate a monastic lifestyle. It means training your system to transition between states with conscious intent, like flipping a switch from scattered to focused, from triggered to grounded, from reactive to still. This is energetic sovereignty. This is the gateway to conscious command. Mastery isn't a performance, it's a frequency, and it's broadcast through your nervous system every second of every day. People sense it before you even speak. Energy workers who truly understand this don't strive to impress with flashy displays. They move with quiet confidence, knowing that stillness itself is profoundly powerful. Their energy precedes them, speaking volumes before any words are uttered. And you can develop this too, not through blind belief, but through dedicated nervous system training. You aren't learning how to acquire energy. You're learning how to become a more effective conduit for it, training your body to be a clean, clear, and capable instrument. Once you can maintain coherence under pressure, amidst intense emotions, and in the face of overwhelming stimuli, your energy will cease reacting to the world and begin actively shaping it. Everything is frequency. Every thought, every emotion, every spoken word carries a unique frequency signature. Your body, your organs, your heartbeat, even your electromagnetic field all vibrate at measurable rates. And whether you realize it or not, your frequency is constantly calibrating itself to your environment. This means that prolonged exposure to anxiety, chaos, or excessive noise will unconsciously drag your system into a similar state. However, the reverse is equally true. You can intentionally shift your entire state, both internally and externally, by deliberately tuning your frequency. As you master this skill, profound transformations can occur in minutes rather than months. Frequency attunement isn't a mere metaphor. It's a fundamental principle of physics, a phenomenon known as resonance. When two vibrating systems come into contact, the one with the stronger, more coherent vibration often entrains the other, causing it to synchronize. This is why a single calm individual can shift the energetic tone of a chaotic room, or why certain sounds and musical compositions can instantly alter your mood. You aren't simply reacting to the content, you're synchronizing to the underlying frequency. This is the profound power of resonance, and it's the missing key in many approaches to energy work. Too often people attempt to raise their vibration through sheer effort and force without understanding the importance of precisely attuning their field. Your body responds instantly to coherent frequency. This is why sound healing, tuning forks, solfeggio tones, and even your own voice can serve as powerful tuning devices for your energetic field. This isn't about esoteric mysticism, it's about the purity of the signal. Coherent frequencies calm the nervous system, balance the brain's hemispheres, and open the energetic channels within the body. However, this isn't solely about passively listening to soothing sounds. It's about actively using frequency in conjunction with your breath, your movement, and your focused intention to anchor new, empowering states. When you chant, hum, or tone with conscious awareness, your own voice becomes a tuning fork. Your vibration ceases to be a passive field and becomes a deliberate, conscious broadcast to which your body responds accordingly. You'll feel the resonance in your chest, your skull, your gut. You'll feel your spine begin to open, your energetic field expand, and the incessant noise of your mind dissolve. Frequency clears static. This static represents the mental chatter, the emotional loops, and the energetic debris that cloud your perception. Clearing this interference allows energy to flow freely, not because you're exerting more effort, but because you're finally in tune. Even environments possess inherent frequencies. Forests, oceans, mountains all radiate frequencies that naturally restore your system to coherence, often with minimal conscious effort. This is why you often feel more authentically yourself in nature. It's not just nostalgia, it's energetic recalibration. Your body remembers what resonance feels like and naturally seeks to return to that state. This is why conscious exposure to certain frequencies, whether through sound, location, or even the company you keep, isn't a luxury. It's a vital form of energetic maintenance. You are an energetic field, and that field requires periodic tuning. But here's a deeper insight that often goes unnoticed. Frequency doesn't just influence your mood, it shapes your very thoughts. Your capacity for thought and perception is profoundly influenced by the frequency at which you are resonating. Low-frequency states trap you in fear, scarcity, and judgment. High-frequency states open you to inspiration, intuition, and effortless flow. Accessing genius, clarity, and profound insight isn't solely about intellect. It's about proper energetic tuning. The frequency makes the thought possible. The thought then sets the direction, and energy then follows. This is why profound change can feel impossible when you're stuck in a discordant frequency. You can possess the perfect strategy, the most detailed plan, and the most effective tools. But if your frequency is misaligned, nothing will flow. Decisions will feel heavy, your mind will remain foggy, and your actions will feel forced. This isn't external resistance, it's feedback from your own energetic field signaling that you need to tune first and then move. When you do, the perceived effort dissolves. You step into effortless alignment, and movement becomes inevitable. You don't need to chase some mythical high vibration. You simply need to rediscover your natural tone, the authentic frequency that lies beneath the noise, the conditioning, and the mimicry of external influences. That tone is already encoded within your body. It's the way you feel when you are simultaneously calm and focused, soft and powerful, still and yet vibrantly alive. You have experienced it before in fleeting moments of profound presence, in moments of deep knowing. That is the signature of your energetic field when it is clear and unburdened. Your task isn't to create that tone, it's to return to it. Frequency attunement is about aligning so completely with your natural state that everything inauthentic simply falls away. As this happens, energy flows effortlessly. You don't chase power, you emanate it. You don't struggle to be heard, your presence speaks first. And that is the secret to creating instantaneous shifts. These shifts aren't random occurrences. They are the direct result of conscious resonance. And resonance is a skill one you inherently know how to feel, and one you are now learning to consciously direct. Energy is not merely something you experience, it's something you actively emit. And what you emit shapes the way the world responds to you. This isn't a vague spiritual notion or a motivational platitude. It's a fundamental mechanism operating continuously. Every room you enter, every conversation you engage in, every opportunity that presents itself is either magnetized or repelled by the frequency you are currently holding. You are not a passive bystander in your reality. You are continuously broadcasting instructions through your energy, whether you are aware of it or not. Most individuals are unaware of this. They believe their lives are shaped by their actions, their decisions, or by random luck. But beneath all of that lies an energetic field, a subtle yet immensely powerful broadcast of thought, emotion, nervous system state, and overall frequency. You aren't reacting to the world as it objectively exists. You're reacting to how your energetic field interprets and amplifies it. And the people around you are doing precisely the same thing. This is why certain individuals seem to navigate life with a remarkable grace, not because things are inherently easier for them, but because their energetic fields are more coherent, more stable, and more intentionally aligned. When your energy is scattered, reality feels chaotic, conversations feel draining, you are often misunderstood, and opportunities tend to slip through your fingers. But when your energy is clear, focused, and resonant, everything begins to align with noticeably less resistance. You enter spaces and sense a palpable shift, not because you are commanding it through brute force, but because your presence is calibrated to influence rather than absorb. Once this becomes your default, the world doesn't just feel different, it fundamentally is different. Your thoughts establish the initial trajectory, but it's your energy that imparts weight and momentum. You can recite affirmations endlessly, visualize your goals meticulously each morning, and meditate for hours. But if your energetic field is saturated with tension, fear, or self-doubt, that will be the message that is truly being conveyed. Energy always speaks more powerfully than intention, because the energetic field does not lie. You can fake words. You cannot fake resonance, and the world, consciously or unconsciously, responds to what is actually being broadcast. This is where things become truly compelling. Once you recognize that you are shaping your reality, not just through your actions, but through the energy you project, the rules of the game change. You begin to feel into potential outcomes rather than aggressively chasing them. You stop pushing and start aligning. You stop striving to prove and start transmitting. Your focus shifts from controlling people or situations to refining your own internal state. The state you cultivate within becomes the world you experience without. The more refined your energetic field, the clearer your path becomes. This is why inner work isn't just about healing or attaining inner peace. It's profoundly strategic. A coherent energetic field doesn't just feel good. It sets things into motion, organizes chaos, draws people toward you, and influences events without needing to exert overt control. This is why true energetic mastery is not loud or ostentatious. It's silent, it's felt. You don't need to announce your arrival when your energetic field precedes you. You don't need to persuade when the very space around you rearranges itself to accommodate your presence. This is not arrogance. It's simple alignment. Energy is not neutral, it is directive. It shapes your relationships, your income, your timing, and your access to intuitive insights. The job you lost, the person who ghosted you, the door that remained closed, those weren't failures, they were energetic mismatches. The energetic field consistently reflects back what it receives. This isn't punishment, it's data. As you cease taking things personally and begin reading the energetic field like a map, you realize that reality is feedback. Not random chance, not cruel fate, but responsive and intelligent. This doesn't mean you can control every single outcome, but it does mean you can significantly influence the unfolding of events. It means you can participate in the dance of life rather than being dragged along by it. And the more attuned your energy becomes, the more fluid the dance becomes. You are not here to hustle the universe into submission. You are here to harmonize with it. And in that state of harmony, things that once seemed impossible become entirely natural, not necessarily easier, but inherently aligned. Because alignment isn't about expending more effort. It's about cultivating greater clarity, and clarity is profoundly magnetic. You have always been shaping your reality. The only difference now is that you are becoming consciously aware of it. You are starting to perceive how your internal state creates your external environment, how your inner world sets the tone for everything around you. That awareness alone is transformative. When you combine that awareness with nervous system mastery, a deep understanding of hermetic principles, and the ability to consciously control your frequency, you transcend simply navigating reality. You begin to consciously design it. The most powerful work you will ever undertake is the work that no one else sees. Not because it is shrouded in secrecy, but because it is so subtle. The world rarely rewards inner stillness. It doesn't applaud energetic clarity, and it seldom celebrates those who consistently regulate their state, refine their energetic signal, and project unwavering integrity without ever raising their voice. But this is where true mastery resides, not in outward displays of power, but in quiet precision, in unwavering consistency, and in invisible inner discipline. Energy mastery is not a performance. It's a way of life, one that doesn't require external permission, validation, or an audience. This is why most people never truly pursue it. There is no one there to applaud as you sit in quiet contemplation, refining your breath. No one watching as you choose coherence over reactivity or presence over self-serving projection. But this is the essential test. Can you remain committed to the practices that no one else will notice until they inevitably do? Because eventually they will. They won't necessarily understand what has shifted, but they will undeniably feel it. They will sense something in your presence that they cannot quite articulate. A deep calm, a magnetic pull, an unwavering groundedness. They will witness how life seems to bend toward you, how chaos seems to move around you rather than through you, how people lean in attentively when you speak, not because of volume or forceful rhetoric, but because of the palpable vibration you are transmitting. They will inevitably ask you for your secret, but by then you will know that it is not a secret at all. It's a practice. The discipline of energy is not about rigidity. It's not about micromanaging every moment or meditating for hours on end. It's about consciously choosing to maintain your energetic signal, even when the world is pulling you in countless different directions. It's about maintaining a clean energetic field in a world that thrives on noise, fear, and distraction. It's about consistently showing up for your chosen practices, even when you don't feel particularly inspired, not to achieve a sense of righteousness, but to remain available to the power that seeks to move through you. You don't need a perfect routine. You need a consistent relationship with your energetic field, a short daily ritual, even just 10 minutes, that gently guides you back into your body, back into your breath, back into a state of coherence, whether it involves breath work, conscious toning, quiet contemplation, or simply scanning your energetic field. The specific method is less important than the unwavering commitment. Energy responds to clarity, and clarity arises from consistency. You cannot fake it, you must build it through consistent practice. This discipline extends far beyond your formal practices. It manifests in how you navigate your day, what you consciously consume, who you allow into your personal space, and the types of environments you deliberately expose yourself to. Every choice is a frequency calibration. Every moment is either reinforcing your coherence or subtly leaking it away. Once you perceive this clearly, you will naturally cease tolerating the things that throw you off balance, you will stop romanticizing chaos, and you will begin to treat your energy as the precious resource that it truly is. Most people will not fully comprehend this path, and that is perfectly acceptable. It's simply not intended for them. You are not here to convince anyone of anything. You are here to become undeniable, to walk so deeply in your own authentic frequency that the world begins to subtly shift around you. Not because you forced it to, but because you consciously tuned it to resonate with your inherent power. That kind of power, the kind that requires no external explanation, is precisely what the old paradigm fears because it cannot control what it cannot perceive. When you begin to cultivate discipline in the unseen realms of energy, you become ungovernable in the visible world. Energy mastery is not about doing more. It's about being more present, more coherent, more unshakable. The more you refine your energetic field, the less life feels like constant resistance, and the more it feels like a flowing rhythm. And rhythm is not accidental. It is consciously engineered from the inside out. You were never intended to earn this power. You were destined to remember that it is already inherently yours. That is the true secret, not just that energy exists or that it can be shaped and directed, but that it already fundamentally belongs to you. Everything you've been learning, the hermetic laws, the breath work, the mastery of the nervous system, the conscious control of frequency, none of it gives you something new. It simply reveals what has always been present, patiently waiting for you to consciously recognize it. You have been trained. So, to wrap it all up, remember this. You are inherently powerful, designed to connect with and direct the energy that flows through you and all around you. The key isn't to chase some elusive power, but to rediscover the innate ability you already possess. It's about quieting the noise, remembering how to listen to your body, understanding the universal laws that govern energy, and gently guiding your nervous system back into coherence. You have everything you need within you. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. What resonated most with you? Do you have any questions about working with energy or experiences you'd like to share? Leave a comment below and let's start a conversation. And if this resonated with you and you're curious to learn more about uncovering your innate energetic abilities, be sure to subscribe so you don't miss any future videos. There's so much more to explore together.